This Bellator 181 interview with Derek Campos for MMA Mania was recorded on July 5th, 2017. Steve Jewin, MMA Mania.
All right, go ahead, Steve.
All right, do I have Derek Campos on the line?
Yes, sir.
All right, it's good to talk to you again, Derek. Thank you for the time. And if you don't mind, I want to go back to something you said right after the Derek Anderson fight to kick off the interview. You said that he was one tough son of a gun, but what you didn't say was he missed weight, he was heavier than me, and he was taller than me. So what did you think about the fact that he didn't make weight for that fight?
I just chopped it up to, Anderson just being a younger guy who, I don't know if he was completely focused. I've been there before in my career where I wasn't completely focused and I missed weight. And, I chopped it up to that. And then also I chopped it up to the fact that, yes, he is a big guy. And, even though when they approached me about him missing weight, I was like, you know what? It is what it is. I'm still going to go in there and fight him because that's what I want. I want to fight. And I wasn't going to ask him to completely drain himself to get to the 56 mark, 55 mark, and it cost him physically because I want the best fight possible from my opponents all the time.
Well, it didn't seem like it was even to his advantage even to stop cutting weight and rest at the weight he got to, because you still went in there and outworked him over the course of 3 rounds.
Yeah, absolutely. I could see in the fight, during the rounds that he was getting tired, he was fading, and I feed off of that kind of thing, and then it gets me going. So I just pushed the pace, see if I could tire him out and finish him. I had a chance to finish him twice. I just couldn't get him, and but ultimately, yeah, I broke him.
You definitely landed the harder shots, especially in those first 2 rounds, and only in the third did he finally seem to get a couple things in on you, but you still took him down. So it was a very solid, very fun performance to watch, and now we get to watch you again in a trilogy fight with Brandon Girtz, and this time the numbers flip to your side because you're the taller man and you've got the longer reach.
Yeah, absolutely. That's I definitely am going to try and use that to my advantage. The reach, and if I'm bigger, yeah, I'll use it because my conditioning is on point. Granted, yes, if I can go in there and use my physical superiority over him, I will, and that'll only make it that much easier, I guess, because technically I also plan to be superior to him. I plan to beat him physically, technically, mentally, emotionally, wherever. I just plan to beat him.
I understand that, but of course, we would be ignoring history if we didn't address the fact that he caught you 37 seconds into that last fight. So, what's the one way that you can avoid that happening again?
I've watched that video, and I've watched all his most recent videos, and really it just comes down to just staying technical, and just moving and staying on the outside of that lead foot. Or vice versa, staying on, moving towards the inside, but staying off the angle of his power hand. I've watched a lot of boxing, some southpaws, and, I have a game plan going in there, and, Girtz is real explosive, but I stick to my game plan, I stick to the way I fight. It's going to be a long night for Girtz.
It's kind of a long night for him in general right now with 2 straight losses, and this is possibly a third if he loses the trilogy fight, whereas you're on a 3-fight win streak. So do you feel maybe he just a little bit has his back up against the wall and might be more dangerous?
Yeah, absolutely, because I've been there before. I was there in 2015, 2 straight losses, one of them being to Girtz. And, when any fighter that has his back against the wall like that, he's a dangerous man. And so I'm going to take note of that. It's going to be on his mind too, but at the same time, I have a lot on this that's on my mind. I want to be a champion. I want to, put bread on the table for my family, all these different things that come into play. And when it comes down to it, he's cornered, and I'm going to destroy him.
Do you feel it's appropriate that this third fight in the trilogy is coming in Thackerville, given that's where the last one was?
Yeah, it makes, it definitely feels right. I'm gonna go back there and avenge the loss where it took place, and just get it done. Do what I need to do. I know what I need to do, and I'm going there, and I'm gonna do it against Girtz. What there in Thackerville, whether it was anywhere else, just no matter where it is, I'm gonna get it done.
This is a very interesting timed card coming right off the heels of a Bellator pay-per-view. What are your thoughts on there being a new champion in the lightweight division and that pay-per-view as a whole?
The pay-per-view as a whole was really exciting to see. Unfortunately, Aaron Pico came out and he just got caught. He was, he's a young fighter, and he just didn't get the win like everybody thought he was, but honestly, I think he'll be back for sure. It's just an experience, it's everybody has to learn, so, but I definitely believe we'll see more of Aaron Pico in the future, and I really hope so, because he's a young talent that is he's amazing. And, but the rest of the card, the main event, that was a grinder. Chael Sonnen, he did work, and Ryan Bader, congrats to him getting the belt. Like, he did what he needed to do against his opponent for Davis, and then of course the fight, with Chandler and Primus. Unfortunately, it played out the way it did, but I believe in the rematch, Chandler is going to do what he needs to do to get his title back. It was just one of those freak things that happened, and of course the New York Boxing Commission being, I guess, green, if you will, they kind of made some, a call that would have probably been let go anywhere else. They probably would let the fight go on, but I think with how young and fresh the Boxing Commission of New York is to MMA, I think they're playing it safe and really being strict about it for the fighters and for the sport of MMA, which in turn kind of isn't a good thing, but
Well, there's two things that I took away from it, and one was if they were going to stop it in the middle of the round, they should have waved off the fight immediately, which they didn't do. And the other thing that I took away from it was actually the same thing your opponent said to me was, why not let Chandler go to the round and then stop it? Like, give him the full 5 minutes and then decide he couldn't continue.
Yeah, that would have been a completely different story there too. I think it was just kind of a mistake on the reffing part and a mistake on the commission's part to not see it through. But yeah, they definitely should have let it go at least through the end of the round and then assess it from there.
If they do the immediate Chandler Primus rematch, which you both seem to think they're going to do, doesn't that back up contenders such as yourself who have to sit on the sidelines and wait a little bit while they do the rematch?
Oh, absolutely not. I mean, I plan on going in there and taking care of business against Girtz, and then immediately after that, I want the winner of Pitbull and Henderson. So, I mean, given the timeline that I'm thinking here, I'll be, I should be staying active, whether that fight happens towards the end of this year or next year, irregardless, I look to stay busy against the top-ranked opponents in my weight class.
Now, since you brought up Patricki's name, is that another fight that you're looking to avenge?
Yeah, I mean, I always look to avenge the losses. It's the opportunities there. And I respect Patricki as a fighter. He's a good guy. And I was looking forward to that matchup this time. But the promotion switched it up, which is fine. I mean, I want to see him go in there and perform against Henderson. If he gets a win against Henderson, perfect. Match us up. And if not, then it just wasn't one of those things that was meant to be, and then I'll go after Henderson. But it's not, it's just not on my mind, because I'm continuing to get better as a fighter. And if my opponents aren't continuing to get better, even though they may have beat me, for me, that just shows that, I'm evolving, I'm becoming better. There's no need to waste my time with an opponent that isn't choosing to stay on top as I am trying to be,
How was it training when you had the change of opponents when Bellator switched things up? Was it just basically the same, or were there any adjustments you had to make?
It's basically the same. The only small adjustments I am working now is just to work against the southpaw into working a little bit more wrestling defense. But I mean, the wrestling and the wrestling defense is there, but yeah, just a little more, being a little more technical with it, a little more explosive with everything, as far as the wrestling goes. But that's really it. Just the small minor changes, southpaw, and just working a little more takedown defense. I'd like to see if he's going to come in and try and take me down. But we'll see. We'll see come July 14th.
Well, that'd be a potentially interesting story with a Benson Henderson fight if you got him, because same thing. He's a guy who's really known for takedowns, got that background at Dana College where he was an outstanding wrestler. You know he'd probably like to try to take you down as well.
Oh yeah, absolutely. You know, guys like that, Henderson and Chandler and Girtz, you know, they're wrestlers, but you know, I mean, at the end of the day, I'm working my wrestling every day and trying to get it better, you know. So I welcome these guys to try and, you know, if they think that they're top-notch wrestlers, I welcome them to try and come and take me down and let me showcase how my wrestling has improved.
Well, we welcome the fight as well. We're looking forward to this third match in the trilogy. Do you think a win here ends this series once and for all, or do you think Girtz would try to come back for a fourth fight?
I think a win here, a big win here, ends this trilogy for good. Because, like I said, I beat him the first time, and I wasn't even 100% there in my mind as a fighter. And the second time, like I said, it just was, fate was on his side that night. He had the step ahead of me, and if I would have just had one more step on him, it would have been a different story. So yes, I look to go in there and finish this fight and end this whole deal with Girtz and send him packing.
All right. Well, I think that's a tagline for the interview right there. Finish the fight, send him packing. So we'll see if that happens on July 14th in Tackerville. But before I let you go, I always want to get any plugs and sponsors that you want to thank.
Yeah, my main sponsor, Hayabusa, for sure, Vaporify, and Alienware. You know, I've got a new management team I'm working with right now, and it's got me those sponsors so far, and a couple other ones that I'll be sure to be representing on, you know, on the fight night on my banner. And just thanks for the gear and everything, and a shout out to those companies for having my back in this fight, and look forward to going on in the future.
All right, and one more thing I'll throw out there on your behalf. Everybody can follow you at DC3Stallion on Twitter.
Yes, sir.
All right, Derek, thank you for the time as always. Have a great day, and have a great fight on the 14th.
Thank you very much. Have a great day. I'll talk to you later.
You bet, and thank you, Dan, as well.